sir.
The core modules people need. We're talking about basically creating a system of becoming a better you, basically through mentorship. So if you can, talk a little bit about when you reach that high level you were at, or what got you through the last final stages. You mentioned people that are around you who've done it before. Kind of talk about their impact.
It's important to have mentorship. So many different reasons. It's important to have people around you that's gone down that path that you're trying to go down before you, so that there's going to be some bumps in the road that you're going to hit. There's going to be, for example, we talked about like overcoming objections, how to handle that, right? How to handle when someone doesn't want to meet up, or maybe you're working really hard but you're not seeing the results that you want, right? You're doing the 10 a day, but things aren't really going the way they're supposed to. You need somebody there that has gone through that already to kind of give you some sort of guidance to say, hey man, listen, you need to tweak this or tweak that or try this differently or do that differently, because without that you're going to be lost. It's important to have that. I've got so many stories. I can give you a few stories right now. Mentorship has helped me. I know we spoke about earlier on in the first few modules about the importance of working really hard, right? And doing these 10 meetings a day at least, right? And going through all these numbers, right? I remember there was a time when I was definitely I was past the point of realizing that I needed to do more. I was doing more. I was out there putting in this work. And it started to get to a point though where I really just wasn't seeing the type of results that I wanted to. But I was putting forth effort. I was really out there, not getting home till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, getting rejected left and right, you know what I mean? Like seeing as many people as I possibly can, and my business wasn't growing the way I wanted it to. And I think if I didn't have the proper mentorship at that point in time right there, that could have been a breaking point for me. And I remember having a conversation. It was just a day where I was working a job, right? So if you guys remember at the beginning of my story, when I got into networking, I didn't have a job. I was unemployed. About a year in, I ended up getting a job because the money that I was making with my networking career, it wasn't enough to sustain my life. You know what I mean? I needed the job just to put some extra cash in my pocket or whatever. And there was a day where I was at the job and I had to go do some meetings later on in the day, but I had been doing this for a while and it became frustrating. And I called my mentor up and I asked him, I said, man, like I don't know what else I could possibly be doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like I feel like I'm doing everything right, and the words that he gave me, and I'll give you guys this, when I called him with this level of frustration, the conversation was maybe about 35 minutes, and I just remember this one segment of the conversation, and he asked me, he said, let me ask you something, you sound super frustrated, what do you want out of all the stuff that you're going through right now? I said, man, I'm tired. The rank that I was at was a rank called senior rep, right? So I wanted to get to that next rank. I wanted to get to the next level, which is director. And I was sick and tired of just being at that rank, what felt like an eternity. I was at that rank for about 7 months. And I'm like, I just need to get out of this rank. I'm tired of this. Like, it's BS. Like, I feel like I'm putting that work to be past where I'm at right now. But he told me, he said, look, man, do you believe that you're going to hit that rank? Like your next rank? And I was like, absolutely. Like, for sure. I know. I believe it. He was like, well, act like it. Like, stop walking around so frustrated and pissed off, because I can hear it in your conversation. Like, I can hear how frustrated you are, and if you're walking around doing meetings with that level of frustration in you, people can sense that, like a dog can sense fear.
Yeah.
And he said, chill, like relax, let it go. And that conversation was probably worth millions of dollars for me, because he was so right. And I was doing the meetings properly, saying all the right things, closing the right way, getting in front of the numbers, and still was not getting the results I wanted. But it was because of that one shift I needed to make. I needed to, something, because see, here's the one thing that I need a lot of people to understand. I believe that everyone is going to get their $97 and $29 a month with this right here and continued info like this. So many people want to know the exact how-tos. Tell me the exact amount of numbers I need in order to achieve this rank. How many people I need to specifically show in order to hit this rank. Here's the deal. It ain't about the numbers only. It's about what's going on in here and in here. So that conversation that I had with him, it made me understand, right, that Mike, how much faith do you have within yourself and within, you know, your God? And that was important for me to hear at that moment, because there was probably a point in time where I wasn't saying this, but maybe I had lost faith in achieving the goals that I wanted. But with that conversation with my mentor, it allowed me to focus back in and say, Mike, you're good. You know, get your emotions in order. Like, you're fine. Just continue to believe in the work that you're putting in. Know that this is not gonna go unnoticed, and you're gonna see some results. It wasn't even 70 days after that conversation I had hit 2 ranks past that rank that I was pissed off that I was at for 7 months. I jumped 2 ranks 70 days after that conversation. So I hope people understand when they see this, it's not only about the numbers, it's about what's going on in your head and in your heart. You know what I mean? That is just as important. I don't care what nobody tells you. It ain't only about the numbers. It's about some other stuff too. And if you don't understand that, you know, that's gonna really trip you up on your journey along the way. And without me having a mentor, right, to give me that guidance when I needed it, I don't know if I'd even be having this conversation right now. I don't know if I'd be in this position right now. So that's that. And something else I want to say, because right now somebody's probably saying, well, you had a great mentor. How did you get that mentor? Because I don't know anybody who's in a situation that has made millions in networking. And how do I get that type of mentorship and leadership? It's easy. Really easy, actually. When you decide to get involved with the networking company, and at the very beginning, you start to show the value of your efforts. You put in that work, right? You sign up some people, and you're making some noise. What you're doing is you're raising your hand, and you're showing the people who you don't even realize that's looking down. You're saying, yo, I'm ready. I'm here. Like, come see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They're going to come to you. You don't get a mentor by asking for him. No, could you mentor me, please? No, you get a mentor by putting forth that effort, put that work in, and the mentor will show up. You know, the mentor will come and show, you know, show their face. So that's really important. You know, you gotta earn a mentor. You don't just get it because you feel like it, because you say you're ready. No. Go show and prove, because these people who can get you to that next level, oh, they got a lot of stuff they got going on in their lives as well. And they can't be wasting their time messing around with just any old body. You know, they're going to align themselves with people who want exactly what they want. So you got to make sure that you're putting yourself in that position to get a mentor's attention. Okay, and if you're not putting forth that effort, all you're doing is telling the people who are, you know, watching you, saying, oh, you ain't ready. Like, you ain't really about nothing. You know what I'm saying? You got some time. But when that time comes, then maybe I'll show my face. But until then, like, you know, you got some work to prove.
Most definitely. So when those people started to hit you up, how was that transition? Did you say, hey, help me, or was it more of a natural thing, or did you come out and say, I need help? Show me.
It was a natural thing, for sure. It was a natural thing. It wasn't. I didn't ask. I really never asked for help. To be honest with you, I never asked. There was certain times I definitely wanted guidance, but that was well after the point where I've showed and proved, like my value. I remember. So I remember when I first got started. I had enrolled, and this is just within my business. This was significant at the time. Within my first 3 weeks, I had enrolled about 7 people, and that's a decent amount of people to enroll in 7 weeks, and I didn't know what was good or bad. I didn't know what to compare it to. And I remember after like the 7th or 8th person that I enrolled, I remember after the 3rd or 4th person that I enrolled, I can hear the person who enrolled me, his name was Ed Blunt. I can hear his tone in his voice. He was like, "You just did what? Like, you signed what?" And it sounded like he was surprised, like that when I was doing what I was doing. And the very next week, when I put in a few more people, he said, "Man, there's somebody I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you." And that happened to be who I mentioned before. His name was Johnny Wimbrey, who had enrolled him. And Johnny Wimbrey is one of the top, network marketers in the world, And he had jumped on the phone just to pretty much tell me, like, "Hey, man, I see what you're doing, man. Like, keep doing what you're doing. If you ever need any help, give me a call. Here's my number. This is where I'm at." That kind of started, the relationship. And he came down to New York several months after, and we ended up like, going out, breaking bread, and I get to pick his brain a little bit. And I brought some people with me too to, get that same, some people on my team to get that same love from him. And that's where it kind of started, But I never, and mind you, so he lived in Dallas, you know what I mean? He lived in Texas. I'm in New York. And the person that enrolled me lived in New Jersey. So, I mean, even though that's close to New York, we didn't see each other every day. Like, we saw each other whenever we could, maybe weekly or whatever the case may be. But all in all, man, I was out there putting in that work. And my mentors came and they showed their face because I earned it. So, naturally, as time progressed, I started to develop those relationships with those mentors.